All right, welcome back to the channel. Remember, this is a place where money talks, narratives do not pay the bills, you know who I'm looking at, and no one pretends this is a hobby. On this channel, results are the only things that matter. Stories don't. You know how we roll. We plan, we execute, we measure, and we repeat. We simply let the money speak for itself, and if you get that, you've come to the right place. Okay, every decision is backed by data, not drama. The goal here is to get your money working for you. So without bearing the lead, you can see the video title, something to the effect of January 2026, our portfolio scorecard, right? And the numbers don't lie. Let's not bury this lead. All of this other stuff is a rounding error. What made our return for the month of January? You can see it right here. It was all gold. Like I've mentioned to you before, if we trade it and there's action, we're there. It's simply how it is. You won't find us missing action in the securities that we trade. So our return for the month of January was right around 10.5%. We're going to round it down 10%. And it was effectively all gold. And if you recall, going back several videos, I talked about the fat tails being the source of, I would say, most of your returns. And this is a perfect example. I'm glad I made that video a few weeks ago. Because we nailed it. This nothing shows it better than this gold return. So it's all history now. I can show you this. We got long gold on or about the 12th of January. And I had mentioned to you that our algo, this wasn't by specific design, but I knew it would probably work well given how our process is. And our algo captured a lot of the fat tails on the side we were on. So we were making profits. And everyone that's been paying attention to the market for the last month saw what was going on with gold, making fat stacks, fat gains every day. A lot of these things were at the right edge of the tail. And we were participating. And I mentioned to you as well back on that Fat Tails video that we also captured a lot of the unwanted downside because we're long gold here, so we'll talk long and short. So we also were parts of the days of the unwanted fat tail to the downside. And I told you then that that was pretty much irrelevant because that was the day that would signal our exit of gold. If you're catching all sorts of fat stacks, you know it's going to come sooner or later. You don't preempt it. You do not preempt this stuff. You just sit and wait for it. It's something people have to learn. And those of us that know have to keep reminding ourselves because it is just human nature to not be like that. Of course, that's why people are poor traders. That's why traders fail at the market. So this Friday was obviously a very, very large down day. I guess it finished down 11.4%. We were out before the regular market opened. We had our stop in. We knew the day before, a couple days before, but at the very least, we were ready long before that happened. So by the time the market opened to the regular market hours, we were already out. So it shows we negatively captured this day, but the fact of the matter is we were out. So like I had mentioned to you, we're sitting here right around 10.5%. It's pretty much all gold. Everything else was a rounding error. And I want to explain to you how we made that 10%. And again, this is not on the trade. This is on your account. These trades are all on the account. It's very simple. And let me explain to you exactly how we did it. We got long around 4,600 and change on the gold contract. Now, that is, we held it over the contract roll. So to keep the math correct, I'm just going to give you the adjusted value. So if my Patreon members say, hey, wait a minute, that's a little out, it's because I do adjusted values because that's what your money does. You guys know we had to roll. So adjusted values, we got in at around 46 and change. All right, we got out 51 and change. You guys know, my Patreon members at least, know exactly when we got out. So that was 500 points. The MGC multiplier is 10. So that's $5,000 per contract. My Patreon members can vouch for this. Go back, guys, and take a look. Tell me how many contracts I told you to take per $100,000 of account. And those of you that aren't yet Patreon members, this is how we do it. Because I don't have to know what you have. You just have to figure out how much to bet to stay in line with my algo. And it only requires you knowing how much you have. I give it on a per $100,000 basis. You can cut it in half, you can double it, you can triple it, whatever you need to do. It's simple. My Patreon members know that that's 3 contracts, 3 point something or other, and I do the point something or other not because I'm not aware you can't take a partial contract, but if you're multiplying, I don't want you to round right away. Do the 3 point whatever it is, put in your multiplier and then round it. Probably round it down for safety's sake. So 3 point something contracts per 100,000. So now you can see 500 points times a 10 multiplier is 5,000 times 3 contract, $15,000 is what you made. That's the 15%. By the way, that is 15% simple return. On a log, it's around 14. You guys know I do logs. So if you're wondering how these things don't always line up, that's why. Now, you may be wondering, well, wait a minute here. 15, 14, that's not 10 and a half. You're right, it's not. I pad the crap out of my algo. So what am I saying? Well, let's look at it again. My algo, even though it stops out right here where we stopped out, it will take the worst of the day, or the close in this case, and it will use that. So we didn't take that full hit, but the algo will just simply calculate it like that. And it's because we don't have to stretch to make our point here. It doesn't matter. It's calculating it. If you took the full loss on the day, which my members know, of course we did not. We were out before the open. And that, folks, is how you do it. Now, of course, it takes something being very cooperative, but you also have to be there, and then you have to milk it for all it's worth. Now, to my Patreon members, do I expect you to be up that around 11 and a half or 14 or 10%? No, I don't. I know how people really are, right? And I do suggest, and I have suggested in the past to my Patreon members, listen, if you're a little antsy and you aren't willing to take the full pop, you've taken a look at how much you've got, what the algo is telling you to bet, you also know your stop, so you're seeing how much of a loss you can take. You're doing that before you enter the trade, right? Because you're going to choose your particular size, even though I've given you the size that the algo is telling you. But you have to be comfortable in doing it, which is why I suggest take a portion of whatever the algo tells you and keep it the same. If you want to bet half on everything. Your S&P, your gold, Bitcoin, whatever the hell you're in, bet half, keep it the same. Now, there are better or worse things to do, but I'm not going to muddy the water. Just keep everything right across the board, cut it in half is an example I often give. So you would be up maybe 5% this month. Hey, listen, you're not going broke making 5% every month. Sure, threw away a good opportunity. Listen, you might have 1 to 3 opportunities like this a year. So if you threw away the first one right away, caught you not looking in January, odds are good, guys. You've got 1 or 2 left like this if the market cooperates at some point. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. These are things we can't know. So to my guys, if you didn't quite make what I'm reporting here, well, you see it's possible because I just did the math for everyone. You can see how you were up 10+% easily on the month of January. But I'm fully aware you're probably half that for most people. So it's not a complete failure. It's just a bit of the continual learning and reinforcing that people need. And that's completely human. And by the way, if you've stuck with me this far, stick to the end because we're almost there. I want to make an offer to some people here, but stick to the end. I should have mentioned that before. But the last thing I want to say is I spoke also previously, and that's why you're looking at this screen here, about the drawdown. This is the 30th of January, and our drawdown is 23%. So you're going, what? What? How can you be up 10% for the month and a 23% drawdown? Well, here's your money. We waited for gold to drop all the way back before we got out. Okay, you wouldn't have made this money most likely anyway, not programmatically, had you not waited for the market to tell you to get out versus you thinking, okay, this is high enough, I'm going to get out now. There have been more people not just stunted their returns, because that's not the worst thing that can happen to you, but what people think is, oh, something can't go higher, I'm going to bet against it. Okay, that has cost more ruin for more people than you can shake a stick at. So yes, we can all simultaneously be up 10% for the month and in a 23% drawdown. It's because gold pulled off a long ways. We had a ton of money. Let it run, because you never know what you've got on your hands. Could any of us have known gold was going to make us this much money rolling in to the market open on January 2nd of this year? No, not a chance. It doesn't work like that. That's why you have to take every trade, put your biases on the table. Once you start bringing your biases in, you are fucked, to use a terminology that everyone understands. So, and I had mentioned in that video a few weeks ago that, you see drawdowns of, 20, 30% sometimes, occasionally, on our portfolio. And this is one of them. Remember I told you they don't feel this bad. They don't feel like this because you're up money. It's just that, yeah, you do get some volatility. And let's face it, gold was very volatile. But you never feel like you're in this 25% drawdown because you've just made so much money and it was so volatile. You're sitting there at the end of the month going, Jesus, I just made 10% on the month. And you could only do that if you let it run. So this drawdown, shit, you will make that up in the next couple months. And by the way, that's insanity. If by the time you make up this January drawdown, even if it isn't till July, you are still making so much money on an annualized return, you won't give a shit. So I just wanted to mention, mostly to my guys here, it doesn't feel like a big drawdown like that, does it? But in fact, it technically is because of how much money we had on this gold trade, and we just waited for it to take us out because you had no idea. And you never will, so leave it alone, let the algo run it for you. It's going to do 10 times better job than you ever will. All right, so what did the rest of you stick around for? Well, this is it. All right, so come on over to my Patreon channel. The link will be down in the description. Now listen, if you have ever contacted me, if you've ever come by and kicked the tires, I don't care if it was last year, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, I don't care what it is. Come over here, find my CQ2 email, click on that, and send me a considered email on what you want to pay on a monthly basis to get returns like this, to get returns like we did last year, 66%. By the way, algo returns far more. That's what we made bottom line. Algo returns far more. This is going to be the same thing. What I'm posting here, I'll just post the algo return numbers and we'll do some narrative in between about what I realize people probably made, but I'm going to show you the algo returns like I did in 2025. So if you've kicked the tires in the last few years, you want to come back, you want to reconsider things, I'm going to give you an option at the beginning of this year because we've already started off right and we're going to continue to keep it tight. We're going to continue to let the money do the talking because that's the only thing that matters. So you send me a considered, honest, real email with what you want to spend a month, and I will consider it. And there's no shame in coming back. There's no shame. You signed up for 1 month. Things didn't go well. You got a little jittery. You couldn't handle it. Listen, that's fine. I get it. No shame in that whatsoever. You probably realize you made a mistake. That's fine too. That's fine too. I'm here. I'm giving you a second chance. In fact, for that matter, I don't even care. If you've never contacted me, I've got a lot of free members on the channel. I don't do a lot of stuff on Patreon, but there's been a lot of people sign up. If you've signed up, I can tell when you've signed up. You're finally ready to jump in. You go ahead as well. You send me an email. We'll figure something out. I might get a consensus after a handful of emails, kind of where the mindset is with people, what you feel is going to work for you. That's fine. I'm willing to deal. Guys, it doesn't matter to me. I'm running this algo. I can run it with 0 people, 1 person, or 100 people. It's effectively the same amount of effort. I hate to say I'm lazy, but it's effectively the same amount of effort because it doesn't matter. I'm doing it anyways. And I'm not sending individualized emails out. It's a BCC to a group. And there's rarely questions that come in because it's all very explicit. I explain things to the nth degree. There's no confusion here. So that's my offer to you for as long as it lasts. All right, I will see you in this capacity, I guess, the end of February, and we'll see where we go from here. All right, we'll see you soon.